Hello everyone. We are going to start our new year with a new sweet recipe. It is called Badam Katli or Almond Katli. It's made with only a few ingredients. If you all know about Kaju Katli or you like it, you're going to like this too. So let's begin. This is what we need to make our almond or badam katli. We need 1 heaping cup of almond or badam ground up, or it's called almond flour, 3/4 cup of granulated sugar, 1/4 cup of water, and half teaspoon ground cardamom. I have a whole cardamom here, but I'm going to grind it up. And also we need parchment paper to roll out our katli. I brought the almond flour from Costco. It's blanched almonds. You can also make your own almond powder or flour at home. I advise you to use a non-stick pan for this recipe. It's much easier. So to this non-stick pan, I'm adding 3/4 cup of granulated sugar. To the sugar, I'm adding 1/4 cup of water. It's just plain water. You can also add the heated water. And now I'm going to turn on the flame or gas stove. Now we will have to stir it, and we are going to dissolve the sugar and then let it boil. We need a sticky syrup. It's called one thread consistency. That means when you hold the sugar drop or the syrup drop in your between two fingers, it creates a string, and that's called one string consistency. So let's just be patient and dissolve the sugar until we get a nice sticky syrup. So this kind of syrup is called ek tar ki chashni in Hindi. I know many of you prefer not to use non-stick pan. If that's the case, you are free to use any other pan of your choice. The sugar is beginning to dissolve. We will have to constantly stir it. Not if we will leave it, it will turn into caramel since we added very little water to the sugar. We absolutely do not want any color whatsoever in our syrup. So we'll have to be patient, constantly stir it. It's going to be frothy soon, and that's the time we are going to reduce the heat to make sure it does not turn brown or does not get any yellow color of caramelization. I'm still feeling some sugar at the bottom, and I am afraid it's going to turn into caramel, so I'm going to add a tablespoon of water to it. So sugar syrup forms well. So it's really frothy now, so I'm going to reduce the heat to lowest possible setting and check the sugar syrup between my two fingers to make sure we got the single strand consistency. Our sugar syrup is looking ready. It's translucent, it's not white anymore. So I'm checking, it's also heavier. So when I drop it with a spatula, it does not fall that fast like before. So that means it's getting ready. I'm going to check it now to see if I get the consistency I wanted. But you see it's not forming a string. So that means we need to cook it for maybe another minute or so. We're still stirring it. This is the crucial part of the making Kaju Katli or Badam Katli. If it's not single string consistency, it's not going to form. Your dough later on your katli will be very soft and it will not set well. We really need well set like fudge consistency Kaju Katli or Badam Katli. So let's cook it for few more seconds, maybe another minute. Let's check it again. I'm checking it after every 30 seconds at this point. This is really crucial point right now. Now see, you can see the single string, and that's what I meant by single strand or single string consistency. So the syrup is ready. I'm adding the almond flour to it, and the heat is on the lowest possible setting at this point. I'm going to mix it really well to make sure all the ground up almond is well incorporated in the sugar syrup. Stir it well, scraping it from the sides. There should not be any lumps. So we are going to cook it for about a minute at this point. Very low heat, remember, very low heat. Otherwise it's going to stick to the bottom and burn. The mixture looks really wet right now, but as we stir it and cook it, it's going to come together. I'm going to scrape it and press it down to make sure absolutely no lumps are formed, and it's going to be ready soon. I can feel it is getting thicker. So I'm going to add just a little bit of ghee to it to make sure. I'm also adding cardamom powder at this point. I always have ground cardamom at home. I keep it ready on hand. So after adding the cardamom powder, I'm mixing it again to make sure it's well incorporated. You can see that it looks like a dough now is coming away from the sides. So let's just add a very small amount of ghee or clarified butter, which is going to bring this dough together. It's going to pull away from the side. It's going to help the dough pull away from the side, clean our pan. You can see it's pulling away from the side and form the dough. So we are ready now. So I'm going to transfer this to our chopping board. Slowly bring it to the chopping board. It's very hot, so you have to be extremely careful at this point. So now the fun begins. I'm going to take a piece of parchment paper and grease it with clarified butter or ghee. This is my homemade ghee, and grease it so the dough, almond flour dough, does not stick to it. And now we are going to knead this dough. Since it's extremely hot, I'm going to use the parchment paper to roll the dough. We really have to knead it. This is extremely important step. If you don't knead this dough, your almond katli is going to be crumbly. It will not set right. It will not be soft inside. So in the beginning, when the dough is quite soft and it's very hard, it may stick to parchment paper, but don't worry about it. If you like, you can add little bit more ghee to the parchment paper and it will not stick. So as the dough forms, it gets harder, and it sets, it's going to pull away from the parchment paper. But we will have to be patient. I have mentioned before, this is very crucial step of making kaju or badam katli. We are going to knead it. Just keep on kneading it until it comes together, and then temperatures comes down to the room temperature, and we can handle it with our bare fingers. So till then we will have to use this parchment paper and keep on kneading it. You see, I can touch it with my fingers, but it's still hot. I feel it's hot. So we need little bit of more ghee to the parchment paper. I'm greasing it more, and then I'm still going to knead it for some time. Just keep on kneading it. When you do this right, your badam katli will not be crumbly at all. It will be nicely set, and inside it will be soft, and that's exactly what we want. So roll it. If the cracks are coming, you see the cracks, just pat it with your fingers and make sure there aren't any cracks. So let's put another piece of parchment paper on top. This parchment paper I had used before and I saved it. It's fine, you can save it for later use. And now let's just roll it out. Rolling is very easy. If you kneaded your dough or almond flour dough right, you will not have any trouble rolling it. It's extremely easy. So to get the clean cuts on the sides, because when you roll in the outside corners, you can see it looks doesn't look clean cut. So you cut that part and then you put it on top and then roll it again. So from the sides also, we don't waste anything. We get nice clean cuts when we are going to finally cut our badam katli or almond katli. It's going to look pretty. It will not be looking crumbly from the outside. See, it's all rolled out. Let's roll it again little bit. And to make sure, we need about 1/4 inch of thickness to this. So I just keep on adding to the side, and if I feel it's thicker, I'm going to reel it. At this point you have to be little bit quick, but again you want this correct thickness. So I'm adding little bit of pistachio powder and on top. Is not necessary, it looks pretty, that's why I'm adding it. If you don't have it, it's fine, you don't have to. And then roll it again so pistachio powder stick to our katli. Now it's time to cut it. I'm going to use my pizza cutter. So let's cut it in diamond shapes. Please pardon the noise, this parchment paper is making lot of noises. Sorry about that. But I have given you a very detailed recipe, also very precise measurements. So I hope when you make it, you will not have any trouble. If you do so, please comment and I'll be happy to answer all your questions if you have come across any problems. The sides can be removed, and if you want you can again roll it and cut it in shapes, but I'm going to just leave it. Now at this point we will have to let it rest and completely cool down before we remove it to another container. So I'm going to cover it and rest it for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes we are ready to move these katlis. Let's see if they come out. Oh yes, you can see they're not sticking to the paper. It's easily removable. So you saw how easy the process was, how easy to make almond katlis. If you want any other, or maybe you want to make Kaju Katli or cashew katli, you can do the same process with cashew powder or ground up cashews. Almond flour is easily available, it's also more nutritious. So give it a try. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, I'm going to add all the ingredients in the description box, so please check there. Till then, goodbye.